So hello everyone, welcome to Triaright. This is back 365. Myself Sujit. So in this session, we are going to learn what is multi-threading that's available in our Python. So in this session, we are going to cover what is multi-threading, how to create the multi-threading in our Python, then what is the use case that will be available whenever we are just try to dealing with our multi-threading in the real-time scenario also, we are going to see now. So before we are trying to understand what is multi-threading, first we are trying to understand what is threading. So guys, threading is nothing but it is a small unit of a processes that can run independently. Means if I'm trying to say that if I'm just trying to write 100 lines of code, means there are some certain codes are there that can run independently without depending on something. Because whenever we just try to create a sign up page, we just try to create a form, means that form will be not dependent upon something. This is called our thread. Then what is called our multi-thread? So multi-thread is nothing but, or we can say that multi-threading is nothing but running multiple thread concurrently in a single process. Means, or we can say that if in a single process, means if I'm just trying to write a single code in our VS Code, at that time this is called our single process. Means in this single process, if I'm writing n number of threads at a time, then it will be treated like a multi-threading. Okay, so to achieve this multi-threading, the multi-thread, or we can say that thread, can be divided into two types. One will be called our kernel thread and second one called our user defined thread. Then in order to create our user defined threads, we have to import a module that is called threading. Just like our whenever we are using our JSON or pickle, at that time also we try to import. So just like our multi-threading also, if you want to use your multi-threading concept also, you need to import a module. That module name called our threading module. Okay, from this module we have see two method how it going to come to into our picture. Now I'm just trying to create two function. Okay, I'm just trying to give a structural representation that how it going to happen. Okay, so how it going to happen means if I'm just try to take two function, okay, you can take classes also. Okay, because this threading have 2 to 3 syntax, that's why first I'm just trying to give a basic view on that, then only we are just trying to see a large view of our multi-threading. Okay, so my requirement will be I want to create two function, and each function means for one function I'm just trying to print 1 to 10, and in second function I want to print 11 to 20. So how the kernel will be comes to the picture means it will be running simultaneously, means it will be not stopping. Means if you see, if you want to print 1 to 10 and 10 to 20 at a time, it will be processing that thing. If you want to stop the timing also, we have to use that particular thing. So first, if you want to make it possible, first we need to importing the threading. Okay, so after importing the threading, now I'm just trying to create two functions. First function name will be boys. Okay, so this boys needs to be print for non in range. Okay, 1 to 5. I'm just trying to take up to 6 means up to 5 I need to print. So every time whenever this for loop will be generated, every time whatever the number it will be come from this range, it needs to be print. After that, the next function will be girls. Okay, so this girls needs to be print the same thing that is called our for value in our range 11 to 16, means 11 to 16 it needs to be print. So simultaneously how it going to happen, we are just trying to see now. So print value. Okay, still it will be not converted into our multi-threading. To convert into our multi-threading, now we are using this threading module, and from this threading module we are using two method. One will be called our thread and another one will be our start. What is the use of thread? It will be capturing that which one or which function you want to make or which class you want to make it as threading. So here I'm just trying to use threading one. So how to use any method from a module by the help of our object reference. So thread the threading dot thread. So here it will be take one mandatory argument that is called our target. Here you need to specify which function you want to use. If you want to use the class also, you need to write target the class name, and the threading to that is called our threading dot thread. And here you need to write target equal to girls. Okay. After I'm writing both the things, still if I'm just trying to run this one, so it is a simple program. We can say that this program will be creating two functions and still we are not calling that particular thing. Okay. Now if I want to print T1 and T2, so here it will be saying that both the kernel are initialized, means both the multi-threading process needs to be start, means we are just trying to use one more method name that is called our start method. If you see here also thread 1 boys initialize, means we can create that particular thing by the help of our target. Okay, target is the attribute for this thread function, or we can say that syntax. Okay, now if I'm just try to use this start t1, so the thread 1 dot start and the thread 2 dot start. Okay, so if I'm just try to run both the things, now it will be printing 1 to 5 and 11 to 16. But if you see, it will be taking some time difference between the other things. If you see here, first it will be printing 1 2 3, then 11 12 13, then 4 14 5 15, means this is a structure, means it will be not wait for something. If you want to wait, or we can say that if you want to pause the time also, you can make it possible by the help of our importing one more module that is called our time module. From this time module, if I want to use a method name that is called our sleep method, means how many time you want to pause that particular things, or we can say that the control flow or the flowing execution you can use by the specifying how many second. If you see, after print 1, it will be printing 11 12 13 14. Why? Because for this norm it will be generating 1 up to 5, but after the first print, the first norm will be printing, we are using a sleep method, because the sleep method is used to stop the control flow and set the controller outside of this, means how many time it will be needs to be stopped. By the help of this sleep we can get, but our kernel will be not stopped. That's why it will become, or we can say that jump to our next line. Okay, so this is all about our multi-threading. Now I just try to write some theoretical point, then we can see a new example that's available in case of our multi-threading. So first we are just try to understand what is called our thread. So thread is nothing but the smallest unit, okay, smallest unit of a process, that can run independently. Okay, that can run independently. Okay, how the independently will becomes to picture, means it will be not depending upon something. Okay, then what is called our multi-threading? So multi-threading is nothing but running multiple threads. Okay, running multiple threads concurrently. Okay, concurrently in a single process. Okay, in a single process, this is called our multi-threading. Means if you want to create multiple thread, means by the help of this threading only you can make it possible. If you are not using this thing, then it will be not possible to convert it into our threading, means the initialization of threading. Okay, now the next few point I'm just trying to add on that. Okay, so to create user defined threads. Okay, so here to create user defined threads, okay, we have to import a module. We have to import a module called our threading module. Okay, by the help of this module we can get that. Then the next point, to create any thread for function or class, we should use thread class. Okay, now this is all about. Now I'm just trying to give a syntax for this one, then only I just need to be tell you more about the things. Okay, so here I'm just trying to write this syntax. So for the syntax for this multi-threading will be, first you need to write your thread, then first argument will be target. Here you need to write either your function name, okay, or you can write your class name as well, means based upon your user requirement. Then the next thing will be argument, means we're going to see argument means if you want to run for 5 times, say 7 times, by the help of this you can write. And for the name you need to specify which function, how many function you are using, that many time you need to specify for that. Okay, so guys, here I'm just trying to add one point that while use our thread, we can give the name for a thread and we can pass the argument in the form of our tuple. Means how many times the thread needs to be print, we can pass by the help of our argument. But this argument must be passed in the form of our tuple. If you want to pass in the form of our number, it will be not possible. Okay, so in the note point, we're going to write. Okay, so here we can write while using thread, we can give name for a thread. We can pass the arguments. Okay, we can pass the argument in the form of tuple. Okay, by the help of the tuple we can get that particular thing, but make sure that whenever we are just try to discussing the same thing, every time we are just try to use in the form of our tuple. If you want to use in the form of our any extra thing, it will be not possible. Okay, so now we are just try to see a different example for this one. Okay, means how the things will be happening whenever we are using this argument and the name. Okay, so here I'm just try to comment all the things. Here also we are try to take same thing. The first one called our threading module and time module. Now we are just trying to use how the arguments and names are comes to the picture. So here also I'm just trying to create two functions. First one called our sample one. Okay, so here also I'm just trying to run a for loop to print some number. So for value in range, here I need to pass from 1 to n, means how many number from the user I need to print. So every time I'm just trying to print the value. Okay, then the next function, one more function, that is called our sample2. And in this sample2, here I'm just trying to print for value in range 1 comma, okay, 1 comma m. After that, every time I'm just trying to print that particular thing. Okay, print here I'm just not to print the value. Here I'm just trying to print by. Okay, so by, in the upper hand case I need to print hello. Okay, here, so now we are just trying to converting into our threading. So here threading 1 equal to threading dot thread. The first argument will be target. So here my first target will be sample 1. Then here I need to pass argument. So in the form of our tuple you need to 5, I need to find up to 6. Okay, so we know that if in the parenthesis, if you are passing only one element, then you need to give a comma. If you are not giving the comma, it will be not treated like a tuple. Then the next one called our name. Okay, so in name I need to specify this is called our function one. Okay, now in the T2 I need to write threading dot thread, and here I need to pass target equal to sample2, and in the argument I need to pass the same thing up to 6 I need to pass. Okay, then the next one called our name, this is called our function2. Okay, now if I'm right to run this one, still it will give you an error that will be saying that your this one means while you are creating your this thing, you are creating that how many time it needs to be taking. We are not starting initialize, means we have to print for 6 times, but here we are not specifying that particular thing. Now if I'm just trying to use t1 dot start, now you can see the error, how the error comes to the picture. So guys, just see how the error will be comes to the picture. So guys, just see sample1 function means this function will be taking zero positional argument. But if you are giving one, because here if you see the threading, it will be not taking any argument, but you are giving a argument. Make sure that the function needs to be take the same thing. If you are not giving that particular thing, it will be gives you the error. Now if I'm just try to run this one, so here it will be printing the hello for 5 times, and then okay, then for the T2 means for our T2 kernel, okay, T2 dot start, here it will also printing for the by also for 5 times. By the help of our kernel, we can make it possible. Now if you want to print your hello and by after few times, then you can use your time module, that is called a time dot sleep. 1 second, I need to print. Okay, now if I'm just try to kill the terminal again, if I'm just try to run this one, so you can get that. First it will be printing hello, then 5 times by, then 4 times hello, because we have already printing 1 time hello. Okay, so this is all about our multi-threading that's available. So in the upcoming session, we're trying to see some more method that's available in case of our multi-threading. So thanks for watching. Triaright.